Yeah.
And the fact that whatever those training camp stats are worth, and maybe it's next to nothing, it's not nothing, and it's not 0% that they're worth. And every time we show him, he's at least in line with everybody. And so I just think
generally better.
I think there is.
He was supposed to be the afterthought, a fifth-round rookie with a famous last name, sitting quietly behind a wall of veteran quarterbacks. Joe Flacco had the resume. Kenny Pickett had the experience. Dillon Gabriel had the hype. But somehow, Shedeur Sanders has become the most talked about name at Browns training camp. And not because of who his father is. On day 7, the Browns made a move no one saw coming. Shedeur got first-team reps against the starting defense. Not garbage time throws, not handoffs, real snaps against Myles Garrett and the rest of Cleveland's elite unit. And what happened next? He torched them. Suddenly, analysts who had barely mentioned his name are now calling him the future of the franchise. Veterans are praising him. Reporters can't stop talking about him. And fans? They're wondering if the Browns have finally, accidentally, stumbled into a quarterback who's ready to lead right now.
What can Shedeur do? I think it's important to see what he can do this season, because if he's good, then maybe you have your franchise quarterback.
And yet he has found himself in maybe the only situation imaginable where I would be arguing he's got to play.
But how did Shedeur leapfrog the depth chart this fast? Why are respected voices in the league pushing for him to start already? And is this all hype or something real? What's happening in Cleveland might just rewrite everything we thought we knew about their QB future. Training camp is where rookies usually wait their turn, especially fifth-rounders. They carry the clipboard, get a few third-string reps, and maybe, just maybe, see the field in preseason. But Shedeur Sanders skipped that script completely. On day 7, Shedeur didn't just practice. He went head-to-head with the Browns' first-team defense. That means going up against all-pro talent, full speed, in a system not built for him. Most young QBs would have crumbled under the pressure. But Shedeur, he looked like he belonged. Reporters on site described him as poised, decisive, and most importantly, effective. He made throws into tight windows, stayed composed in the pocket, and read the defense like a vet.
He's now in a mix where he's getting more first-team reps. I want to be very interested and intrigued to see what he can do with those reps. And who knows? If he keeps performing.
It wasn't a one-play highlight or a lucky series. It was control, precision, confidence. And that got everyone's attention. Coaches didn't just nod. Teammates didn't just clap. Analysts started talking, loudly. This wasn't just a solid rookie outing. It was a statement. The Shedeur wasn't just another developmental prospect. He was here to compete. And suddenly, the Browns' QB competition didn't look so predictable anymore. And that was just the beginning. On paper, Shedeur Sanders should have been buried. The Browns already had Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Dillon Gabriel in the quarterback room. 3 guys with NFL credentials, experience, and expectations. But once camp started, that depth chart didn't look so deep. Kenny Pickett came in with baggage. He had his shot with the Steelers and never really delivered. According to Nick Wright, Pickett has already proven he's not that guy. Flat out not an NFL quarterback, Wright said.
Flacco, who I just think if you're the Browns, what are you doing? Why?
Unless they think they can actually make the playoffs.
We've seen it. Every opportunity he's had, he's come up short. Then there's Joe Flacco, a former Super Bowl MVP, yes. But now, he's a relic. A name more than a weapon. He might be useful in short bursts, but no one in Cleveland really believes Flacco is the future. Maybe not even the present. That leaves Dillon Gabriel, a college standout with raw talent, but at barely 6 feet tall. Scouts have concerns. Chris Broussard didn't sugarcoat it either. He called Gabriel a career backup, someone who might be great in a pinch, but not someone you build a team around. And right there in the middle of all this uncertainty is Shedeur Sanders, the only one trending up. While the others try to prove they still belong, Shedeur is making everyone question why he wasn't at the top to begin with. And Nick Wright made his opinion crystal clear. It didn't take long for the noise around Shedeur Sanders to turn into something louder, momentum. And leading that charge?
Because he has found himself with Kenny Pickett, who is not an NFL quarterback. Flatly not an NFL quarterback. We have seen it every chance he's had, every opportunity he's had to play.
Nick Wright, who didn't just praise Shedeur, he planted his flag. Wright went all in, saying not only is Shedeur better than the other Browns QBs, he should be the starter right now. That wasn't based on potential, it was based on performance. Camp stats aren't always the best predictor of success, but when every day you're the sharpest quarterback on the field, that's hard to ignore. Completion percentage? Shedeur was at the top. Decision making? Better than Pickett. Consistency? Light years ahead of Gabriel. And this wasn't a one-day fluke. Wright pointed out how Shedeur was repeatedly outshining the competition, day after day, rep after rep. Even the doubters had to admit, Shedeur was making real progress. While other QBs looked hesitant or inconsistent, Shedeur moved with purpose. His throws were crisp, his reads were fast. He looked like a quarterback already prepared for Sundays.
I agree with Haslam in that obviously you need to see what your rookies can do. And I do think they think of Gabriel as like a backup, like a career backup maybe.
And Wright didn't just say Shedeur should start if things go wrong. He said even if Shedeur was only average, he'd still take him over the rest of the group. That's how far ahead Sanders looked. But Nick Wright wasn't alone. When Chris Broussard speaks, people listen. And this time, his message was blunt. The Browns need to start Shedeur Sanders. Period. Broussard didn't waste time dressing it up. He said what a growing number of fans were thinking. The Browns aren't just experimenting. They're looking for answers. And if they want a real shot at fixing their quarterback problem, they need to see what Shedeur can do in live action. He didn't stop there. Broussard flat out said what others were too cautious to admit. Dillon Gabriel isn't the guy. Not as a starter. Not in this system. Gabriel looks like a career backup, he said. He doesn't have the tools to lead a team.
I'll say just have a deeper level of understanding because I know whenever I get my opportunity, I gotta maximize it. So that's something you have to change in the mentality standpoint. And the mental standpoint is okay. I just gotta think about what I could do to get better.
And it's not just Broussard's opinion. He pointed to the Browns' own actions. Gabriel hasn't been treated like a long-term option. He's not getting the reps. He's not being prepped to lead. That tells you everything. Meanwhile, Shedeur keeps building his case. Not just with plays, but with poise. Broussard's argument was simple. You drafted him for a reason. Now give him the chance to show why. And someone else watching Shedeur up close every day. He's just as convinced. Garrett Bush has been at Browns camp day in, day out. He's seen all the quarterbacks up close. And when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, his take was clear. This isn't just talent, this is maturity. While others might have sulked about limited reps, Shedeur didn't flinch. He stayed locked in. He studied. He answered every press question with calm, measured confidence. Bush said what really stood out wasn't just the throws, it was the professionalism.
You know, I've been at camp every single day. I got a lot of respect because his game has really stepped up. He's shown a lot of growth in knowledge of the playbook, shown some maturity, handled not getting reps very well. Everything he's asked in the press conference, he's answered well. And now, with injuries, because things happen.
The way Shedeur carried himself, like someone who'd already been in the league for years. But Bush wasn't just praising the intangibles. He made one thing crystal clear. If Sanders keeps playing like this, the Browns won't be able to keep him off the field. Injuries are already shaking up the depth chart. That means more reps are opening up. And every time Shedeur gets one, he delivers. Bush even hinted that we're already seeing a shift, that Sanders is sliding up the depth chart faster than anyone expected. He's not just growing, he's surging. Bush didn't say it might happen. He said it will happen. If he keeps this up, the starting job is his, no questions asked. And suddenly, Shedeur wasn't just winning over the media, he was winning over the locker room. You can impress coaches. You can even win over analysts. But the real test? Winning the respect of the veterans, the guys who've been there. And that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders is doing. Jerry Jeudy, a top-tier wide receiver, didn't hold back. He said Shedeur's growth was undeniable. Since OTAs and minicamp, Jeudy's watched him evolve. More accurate, more confident, more in control. He just keeps getting better, Jeudy said. You can see it every time he steps on the field. But the real shock came from Myles Garrett, one of the most feared defenders in the NFL. When asked if Shedeur could hang with elite-level competition, Garrett didn't hesitate. I'm sure he can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the league. That's not locker room politeness, that's belief. Coming from a guy who's made quarterbacks crumble, that kind of endorsement says everything. And that matters. Because when stars like Garrett and Jeudy start backing you publicly, it changes the narrative. You're not just a rookie anymore, you're a threat. Someone teammates rally around, and opponents start preparing for. And while the buzz around Shedeur was building on the field, his mindset off the field? That's what really turned heads. Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing like a pro, he's thinking like one. In a recent interview, he dropped a line that stopped people in their tracks. I know whenever I get my opportunity, I gotta maximize it. That's not rookie talk, that's a veteran mindset. While other young quarterbacks get caught up chasing highlight throws or flashy moments, Shedeur is laser-focused on preparation, especially the mental side of the game. He spoke about diving deeper into the playbook, learning protections, and understanding defensive looks. Not just reacting, but anticipating. That's the part most rookies struggle with, and Shedeur's already working ahead of schedule. He's not waiting for a chance. He's training like the job is already his. That quiet intensity, the discipline to focus on the long game, is rare, especially for a player surrounded by media hype. And while the buzz around Shedeur was building on the field, his mindset off the field? That's what really turned heads. Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing like a pro, he's thinking like one. In a recent interview, he dropped a line that stopped people in their tracks. I know whenever I get my opportunity, I gotta maximize it. That's not rookie talk. That's a veteran mindset. While other young quarterbacks get caught up chasing highlight throws or flashy moments, Shedeur is laser-focused on preparation, especially the mental side of the game. He spoke about diving deeper into the playbook, learning protections, and understanding defensive looks. Not just reacting, but anticipating. That's the part most rookies struggle with. And Shedeur's already working ahead of schedule. He's not waiting for a chance. He's training like the job is already his. That quiet intensity, the discipline to focus on the long game, is rare, especially for a player surrounded by media hype. But Shedeur isn't buying into the noise. He's doubling down on the work. It's not just about being ready when his number's called. It's about being unforgettable when it happens. And at this point, even his critics are starting to ask the same question. At this point, the question isn't if Shedeur Sanders will start for the Browns. It's when. From unexpected first-team reps to praise from Myles Garrett and Jerry Jeudy, from Nick Wright calling him the future to Chris Broussard demanding he gets real game snaps, Shedeur has flipped the Browns quarterback narrative upside down, and he's done it without a single regular season snap. What separates him isn't just his arm, it's the calm under pressure, the leadership behind the mic, the obsession with learning, preparing, and improving. While others are scrambling to hold their spot, Shedeur is quietly taking over the conversation. And with injuries reshuffling the depth chart, with veterans underperforming, and with the front office looking for a long-term answer, the door is wide open. So now it's your turn. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is the future of the Browns? Or is the hype getting ahead of reality? Has he already earned the right to start? Or does Cleveland still need to see more? Drop your take in the comments, because no matter what happens next, one thing's clear. Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting for the moment. He's preparing to own it.